This is Alan Wagner, speaking to you from the State Theatre in Lincoln Center. On this occasion, the City Opera turns from brand-new Menotti tragedy to 150-year-old Rossini comedy. The work is a delight, Gioacchino Rossini's last opera buffa and his next-to-last opera, composed about a year before William Tell. It's called Le Comte Ory, done here in an English version by Tom Hammond. It's something of a rarity on both opera stages and recordings. It got its last professional mounting in New York in 1845, so this premiere performance we're about to hear is a real event. Count Ory is seldom performed not because of lack of quality. It's a funny and beautifully composed mixture of Italian farce and familiar Rossini trademarks, combined with French wit and irreverence and bawdiness. A major problem has been that the four leading roles are wickedly difficult to sing, wide-ranging and full of tricky passage work, so that casts are hard to come by. The City Opera now has the cast, though, led by soprano Ashley Putnam as the Countess Adèle and tenor Rockwell Blake as the Count Ory, both very young indeed. Miss Putnam has been heard before on these broadcasts, but Mr. Blake makes his City Opera debut with this performance. Bass Samuel Ramey is the Count's tutor, and F.Esham is the mezzo page Isolier. Other debuts tonight are being made by director Christopher Alden and scenery and costume designer Paul Steinberg, who will join us for a chat about this handsome and playful production during our single intermission. Others in the cast are David Holloway as Raimbaud, Martha Thigpen as Alice, Jane Shaulis, Harry Davis, Robert Brubaker, Rosalie Tisch. The conductor is Imre Pallo. Count Ory takes place in and near a castle in France in the year 1200. There, left behind by her brother, who's off on the Crusades along with all his vassals, Countess Adèle shares a vow of chastity and isolation with the other ladies of her court. The action begins as rumors spread of a miracle-working old hermit. Ragonde, Adèle's confidant, joins some peasants who await the hermit's arrival because she wants holy advice on a cure for Adèle's recent deep depression. The hermit agrees to help if the Countess comes to see him. What nobody knows, though, is that the hermit is actually the disguised Count Ory, a notorious and tricky womanizer. He and his aide, Raimbaud, have hatched this plot to gain access to Adèle's castle with its delectable, if unapproachable, population. Now Count Ory's tutor and his page, Isolier, arrive, part of a posse out hunting for the missing young count. The tutor guesses the hermit's true identity and goes off to tell his search party companions, but Isolier still doesn't know. So he confides to the hermit that he is in love with Countess Adèle and that he plans to sneak into the castle disguised as a female religious pilgrim. Soon the Countess Adèle arrives herself in person with her ladies carrying colorful flags to consult the hermit, who blithely releases her from her vow of chastity and recommends love as a cure for her unhappiness. But he warns her then to avoid Isolier, who he says is servant to the libido-drenched Count Ory. His masquerade is suddenly ended, though, to everybody's shock and dismay, when his tutor returns and unmasks the hermit as the Count himself. The act ends in a Rossini crescendo after a messenger riding a kind of hobby horse brings word of the imminent return of the Crusaders. The curtain will rise during the prelude, and we will see the plot being hatched between Raimbaud and Count Ory, and then we will see Count Ory dressed as the hermit, wearing a long fake white beard, dressed in horizontal purple-striped gown and hood. He will later be revealed as the Count in a handsome embroidered purple-trimmed tunic. Adèle, when she appears, wearing a white gown trimmed in gold and green. Here now comes our conductor, Imre Pallo. He is being greeted by the applause of our audience, and he acknowledges it. He turns to our orchestra, and we will hear Act 1 of Rossini's Count Ory.
and joy unconfined. Yes, may destiny befriend you, and fortune here attend you. May destiny befriend you, and fortune here attend you. May heaven mercy send you peace and joy and find.
Forever trembling amid the shrine, both for his highness and for my line, for him who serves a noble lord, behold all the fame and reward. Through a age, for a some maid his heart he loses, I must seek her out if he chooses. So perforce I preach all the while upon the stair of woman's trial. If his heart to beauty he loses, I must seek her out if he chooses. So perforce I preach all the while upon the stair of woman's trial.
Shadows in
Against the background of arches closed with painted holy curtains, sometimes lit from behind, the Crusaders return. The curtain rises now on the entire company. They take a company call. Coming out now for a solo call is Marshal Thigpen as Alice in her peasant gown and her long hair. Here now is Jane Shaulis as Ragonde, a green overdress and a white undergown. S.Ramey as the tutor in his sandals and beard and brown friar's robe during a monk's concert. Here now is D.Holloway, baritone D.Holloway as Raimbaud, Comte Ory's faithful friend, and now mezzo F.Esham in a brown and white embroidered tunic and brown cape as Isolier, in a beautiful red gown, Ashley Putnam, Countess Adèle, bows low to the audience, her hair loose, long down her back. And coming out now, tenor Rockwell Blake as Comte Ory in his embroidered gold and purple tunic. The principals join hands, come down to the footlights, and together acknowledge the applause. Rockwell Blake is making his debut at this performance, of course. Miss Putnam goes to the wings and brings out our conductor, Imre Pallo, who joins with the principals in once more taking a company call. Now Miss F.Esham goes to the wings and brings out our director, Mr. Christopher Alden, and our designer, Mr. Paul Steinberg. Director, designer, conductor and cast, and lighting designer, Herbert Hemsley, join all together. Another call to our audience this evening. Once again, they come down towards the footlights and acknowledge the applause. The cast and the backstage people are applauding the orchestra, who performed so well this evening, and now the curtain falls on our curtain calls.